So I'm going to get this right out here before I begin. There's a fire hydrant so that I know I am well within the public utility to be able to do this. So, here goes a whole lot of not of nothing. Forgive me, y'all. So, this right here happens to be DTE's facility in Cass City, Michigan. The reason I'm out here and the reason I get to protest and perform my civil disobedience is because of this. So I had a missed opportunity. I was in the Tuscola County Board of Commissioners meeting, and none of them said no to the fact of me being able to record while I was reading these local resolutions. So right here I have 5 local resolutions, and I wish I would have taken advantage of the fact that I was actually at a County Board of Commissioners meeting and had the opportunity to read these, which I had, but it's not on YouTube. So hence I'm doing it now. So again, there's DTE, the same people that had actually paid our state legislatures to turn down analog choice meter bill. So I'm going to read a resolution supporting Michigan House Bill 4916, which was actually the one that they turned down was 4220. A resolution supporting that. So, whereas smart meters are computerized electrical meters that send electric meter readings to the utility via radio frequency radiation multiple times per day. And whereas analog meters are manually read electronical meters that have accurately measured the electric consumption of homes and businesses for over a century. Whereas DTE Energy, the utility, is replacing existing utility meters with AKA advanced AMI meters. And whereas DTE Energy plans to replace all meters with either the fully functioning smart meters or the smart meter with the radio frequency turned off, quote unquote opt-out. Whereas the opt-out meter must be read manually in the same way analog or non-transmitting digital meter must be read. And whereas the utility in the testimony before the Public Service Commission in U17053 has stated that the non-transmitting smart meter performs no functions not already performed by the analog electric meter. Whereas the utility charges the residential customer $67.20 to have a non-transmitting opt-out meter in place of a fully functioning smart meter. And whereas the cost of leaving in place the existing analog meter is $0, thus creating an unnecessary charge to the customer who does not wish to have the smart meter on their home or business. Whereas some persons on fixed incomes are unable to afford the opt-out fees. Whereas the utility does not permit businesses to opt out. Whereas citizens of this community have expressed many concerns about this replacement, including concerns about the health effects of radio frequency radiation and the voltage, transistance, and harmonics line noise generated by smart meters, concerns about privacy, hacking, concerns about fire safety and fire hazards, concerns about impending time of use rates and resultant increases in electric bills, and concerns about remote shutoff. Whereas many residents in the state of Michigan have reported negative health symptoms after the installation of smart meter or smart electrical meters or non-transmitting opt-out meters on their homes. Whereas some residents of the state of Michigan have reported that their smart meter has caught fire or exploded, or have reported flickering lights and appliances short-outs immediately after the smart meter was installed. Whereas the Township of Vassar has worked tirelessly to attract positive investment while rejecting those that put our health, environment, and quality of life at risk. And whereas Vassar Township Board of Trustees is charged with securing and defending the overall health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the township and their guests. Whereas the electromagnetic frequencies emitted and generated by these matters must have been shown by tens of thousands of scientific studies since the 1930s to harm biological systems and therefore pose a serious long-term threat to the health of our citizens. And whereas customers with a disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act may not be charged for accommodations of their disability. whereas both the non-transmitting smart meter and the analog meter accurately measure electricity usages, and whereas both must be read by a meter reader, therefore making them indistinguishable for the purposes of metering customers' electrical usage, whereas smart meters have not been mandated by the federal or state government, and whereas our township is committed to providing equal opportunity and quality of life for all and removing full barriers to participation in public life on the basis of disability. Whereas DTE has been unresponsive to the customers' concerns because we're stopped. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Vassar Township Board of Trustees supports the ability of DTE customers not to participate in the smart meter program on their homes and businesses and to have their electricity usage measured by an analog meter without suffering financial penalties or incurring monthly charges as outlined in House Bill 4916, and that an analog option be offered in perpetuity to all utility customers. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Vassar Township Board of Trustees calls upon the Chair of the House of Energy Policy Committee, the members of the Energy Public Service Commission, and the state representatives of our district, and the state senator of our district, the Michigan Public Service Commission, and the Attorney General to do all in their power to ensure the passage of House Bill 4916, which was also turned down. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Vassar Township Board of Trustees calls upon the above-mentioned persons and governmental entities to ensure that the passage of the legislation in the future that will ensure the utilities have a right to an analog meter on their homes or businesses to measure electricity usage without suffering financial penalties or incurring monthly charges, and that an analog option be offered in perpetuity to all customers. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Township of Vassar urges DTE to permit the customers who wish to have their electricity usage measured by an analog meter to do so without suffering financial penalties or incurring monthly charges. Now, Carols. So, the following preamble and resolution was offered by Councilman Michael Henry and supported by Councilman Rick Lippin. Whereas DTE Energy smart meters, aka smart meters, are modern electric meters which send meter readings automatically by using a radio frequency network rather than a traditional on-site meter reading method. And whereas DTE Energy is actively installing meters throughout southeastern Michigan and has recently mailed a letter to the city of Cairo pertaining to the ability of city residents to opt out of receiving a smart meter. And whereas a number of city residents have expressed concerns regarding negative health conditions that may result from the use of smart meters and accuracy of smart meters, and the possibility that the use of smart meters may contribute to a loss of personal privacy. Go figure. Whereas the Michigan Public Service Commission has recently decided to investigate several aspects pertaining to the use and installation of smart meters. And whereas the Michigan Public Service Commission has a component of this investigation is requesting that the utility companies disclose information regarding the potential adverse health effects associated with the use of smart meters. And whereas the City of Cairo Council is charged with securing and defending the overall health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the city and their guests. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the City of Cairo Council hereby supports the ability of its residents and property owners to opt out of receiving a smart meter installed. Be it further resolved that the City of Cairo Council supports the investigation by the Public Service Commission. The City of Brown City. Whereas DTE Energy has begun the installation of new meters to customers in Michigan Thumb area communities, replacing existing meters with so-called smart meters, that is, electric meters which will broadcast information to the utility company using radio frequencies. And whereas DTE Energy has indicated that it will at some point begin installation of smart meters in the City of Brown City, and whereas smart meters provide a benefit to utilities by allowing remote meter reading by, among with other things, eliminating the need for someone to go to each utility customer's property to read the meter, and possibly offering residents a lower electrical rates at non-peak times. And A significant number of people, including residents of the city of Brown City, have expressed their concerns to this council about potential health effects of the smart meters, as well as other concerns regarding the universal deployment in the city. Whereas, although the city council is informed that it is without jurisdiction to directly regulate smart meters, exclusive jurisdiction over them residing with the Michigan Public Service Commission, the city council believes it is appropriate to assist its citizens in obtaining consideration for their issues by requesting careful review by the Michigan Public Service Commission. Now, therefore, be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Brown City that the Michigan Public Service Commission is hereby requested to perform a careful analysis of the potential health and safety effects which may result from the universal installation of smart meters for electrical or gas utilities. The Michigan Public Service Commission is further requested to consider delaying the deployment of smart meters pending a conclusion by the Michigan Public Service Commission following careful study and review that such meters are safe and will have neither short-term nor long-term negative consequences to the health of citizens of the city of Brown City and the state of Michigan in general. The Michigan Public Service Commission is asked to carefully examine other concerns regarding the deployment of smart meters as may be submitted to them by residents of the city of Brown City and the state of Michigan, so as to ensure that all aspects of this issue are considered before final determination is made. With respect to such deployment, the Michigan Public Service Commission is further asked to consider requiring public utilities to allow customers with appropriate medical documentation of the individual risks to opt out of smart meter installation at their homes. The Michigan Public Service Commission is hereby requested to perform a careful analysis of the potential privacy issues regarding available and future smart meter technology. All resolutions inconsistent with the foregoing resolution be and the same hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistency. And last but not least, oh wait, there's two more. Township of Worth. Whereas Detroit Edison Company has begun the process of installing within the boundaries of Worth Township digital advanced meter infrastructure to be referred to in this resolution as smart meters. And whereas many township residents have expressed concerns about the installation of smart meters on their homes to Worth Township officials and to the Worth Township Board, whereas the residents and township board members have expressed concerns about the alleged intrusion into the respective energy usage attributed to smart meters. Many residential customers of Detroit Thomas Edison Company are concerned that emissions from smart meters may be attributed to serious health problems, including but not limited to psychological, neurological, pulmonary, vascular, and sensory. Whereas Michigan House Bill 4916 was written to address the above-mentioned concerns regarding smart meters and has been forwarded to the Committee on Public Energy. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Township of Worth, Sanilac County supports the ability of DTE Energy customers to retain their current analog meter and to opt out of the smart meter program for their homes without being subject to financial penalties and additional monthly charges. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Worth Township Board of Trustees strongly encourages State Representative Chairman Eric Nesbitt of the Committee on Public Energy or Energy Policy of the Michigan Public Service Commission, Attorney General Bill Schuette, Phil Pavlov, Paul Muxlow, blah, blah, blah. Well, all right. And so, one other, last but not least, the Village of Reese. Whereas the term smart meter often refers to an electricity meter, but it also may mean a device measuring natural gas or water consumption. Whereas many communities across the country have joined forces to prohibit smart meters from being installed locally, mostly upon the notice of higher energy bills, costs, illness, forced installation of meter, privacy issues, Fourth Amendment right to reasonable expectation of privacy and safety, and liability. Whereas on March 4th, 2013, the Planning Commission of the Village of Reese passed resolution number 2003-02 that recommended that the Village Council consider taking formal action to notify and ban all future use of smart meters within the village of Reese, whereas the village council believes that additional information relating to the use of smart meters in the village of Reese needs to be compiled prior to making a definitive decision with respect to banning the use of the devices now. Therefore, be it resolved that at regularly scheduled meeting of the Reese Village Council being held on May 13, 2013, a quorum being present, a motion was made by Keast and seconded by Philibrandt to place a moratorium on the use of smart meters within the village limits and the period of 6 months so that the Planning Commission can continue studying the matter. And be it further resolved that the copies of this resolution be mailed to the utility companies who provide electrical, gas, water, and electric services to the village of Reese. So, obviously, 4220 and 4916 were turned down, but that comes to no surprise when you're offered money to vote no on an analog choice meter bill. Thanks, state representatives, quote unquote. So here it is. The whole reason, well, I'll show you this one first. Right here, you see, obviously, 63 total price listings, right? You can clearly see that, right? Well, I've got highlighted. See this? It's, I got the highlighted the highest kilowatt per hour and the lowest. I'd like to see a flat rate. I don't know about y'all. Talk to y'all later.